Welcome to Gmail. So the layout of Gmail is similar to other mail programs. On the left-hand side, you will have a menu that has a lot of like labels here, which is another word for folders. You can compress this menu by clicking on the three lines, and now it will show up only when you hover it. Or if you want to pin it back up there, just hit the three lines again. You will compose messages from this menu. This is where you'll organize your mail. You can also start a Google Meet or join a Google Meet directly from Gmail. In addition, you can use the chat feature for live text chatting with colleagues or other people in your contact list. You can also make phone calls directly from email or from Gmail. And if you click make a phone call, you can start typing people's names, and if your contacts have phone numbers listed, you'll be able to make internet phone calls directly from the app. On the far right-hand side of the screen, you're going to notice that there's some shortcuts here for Google Calendar, so I can view my calendar. The other thing I can do is I could take any message that's sent to me, and I have the option by clicking on the three lines of creating a calendar event for the email message. So if the message is relevant and it's got information and we need to now create a meeting for it, you would open the message, just say create calendar event, and it'll open Google Calendar for you, and it'll prompt you to make an event. And if you notice, it'll already add all the guests of everyone who was included in the to line and the carbon copy lines of the email message. The other thing that you have here is a shortcut to Google Keep. Google Keep is great because it is a great note taking feature. So what you can do is you could take any of your notes here and you can copy them and you can browse through them and or pictures, and you can add them to messages. In addition, you have a task list. Any message can be added to the task list. If this is a message that has to-do items for me, what I would do is just take it and drag it right into my task list, and it becomes a to-do item. You can also open up a message and you can add it to your task list with one of the icons. One thing that you'll notice is that you do have a little menu when you open up a message. You can archive a message. What archiving will do will be just to take it out of the inbox and move it into your all mail folder. Other items that you have here is you can report the message as spam. You can delete the message. Please be aware that Gmail does permanently delete any message that is moved to the trash after 30 days. You can also mark your messages as read or unread. You can snooze your messages, which I will talk to you about in just a quick second. You can obviously add them as a to-do list or a to-do list item. You can move messages into certain folders. I can add labels for my messages, so another way to categorize them. Or if I hit the three dots, I have a few more items, and one of them we mentioned before was to create calendar events for the items as well. You also can delete multiple items in your inbox. If you want to highlight multiple messages, you can actually act on multiple messages at once. So I can delete a bunch at once. I can archive a bunch at once. All of these can be added as task lists. So this is another way that you can quickly select and use items in your inbox. The other thing that is nice is if you hover over a message, you will also get some of the most common shortcut items. So archiving, deleting, marking it as read or unread, or snoozing. Snoozing is a new feature. It's actually a great feature if it's something that you need to follow up on, but you're not ready to follow up this moment. So let's say I received a message and I need more information, so I need to revisit it tomorrow, but I need a reminder to reply back to the person. What I'll do is hit the snooze button, much like hitting snooze on an alarm clock, and I could use one of the pre-suggested times, so maybe tomorrow at 8 o'clock, or I can pick my own date and time. If I chose tomorrow at 8 o'clock, what that will do is remove the message from my inbox. It'll temporarily put it in the snoozed folder, And tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, that message will show up back at the top of my inbox. And it will also be noted that it's a snoozed item. So I'll know whether it's a new message or it's something that I snoozed and I am now ready to act on. So this is a general overview. Continue the video to learn more details or scroll down in this Schoology course to learn specifically how to do certain tasks. In Gmail, we use labels instead of folders, and that's a little bit different than other email programs. So the first thing that I'd like you to do is on your left-hand menu, click on More, and find the All Mail folder and drag that into the top part of the list, and do the same with your trash. You can also find any folders that you may have created that you use frequently that you might want to be easily accessible and drag those to the top of the list as well. And any that you don't think you'll use very often, you can drag down to the bottom of the list and they'll remain in the compressed folder. So you'll only have your most important items visible on the screen at all times. Now, in Gmail, there's technically three mailboxes. There's your all mail, which has everything. It will have anything that is not in the trash or not labeled spam will be available in your all mail folder. So if you're searching something and for something that you're not sure where you labeled it or where you put it, you can just go to all mail and use the search box at the top of this page. You can also filter your mail to have it viewed by date or by recipient if that's easier for you to sort through. The other mail folders would be your trash or your mailboxes would be the trash and your spam. Anything in trash or spam will not show up in the all mail folder. Okay, so let's go to the inbox. The inbox is really a label, as well as everything else in this list is considered a label. And a label can be kind of used in the same way that the term folder was used in Outlook. So in my inbox, any new message will automatically be given an inbox label. I can also click on a message and I can categorize it by labels by clicking on the little labels tab. And these are labels that I have already set up, or I can create a new label. So I'll create a new one called Amy. I can make this a sub-label, kind of like a nested folder, if I wanted to, and make it sort of like a subheading under a different heading. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to uncheck the box and click Create so that Amy is now its own folder here. Now, one thing that I can do is I can click the three dots next to it and I can label it with a color. So I could say my Amy labels are going to be purple, whereas my computer ones are orange. And then also, if I wanted to delete this label, I can click here and say remove label and delete it. And that would just delete the label itself. So when I'm in the inbox and I add a label to an item, let's say I'm going to also add this to the computer, and I'll say apply. So now you'll see that this has three labels. This message will be available now in all three of these labels when I click on them in the menu here. It's not a different message, it's the same message, it's just available in different areas. And this is just to help you organize your mail. Your starred items, these are any items like from your inbox. You can quickly star items that you deem important, maybe that you want to get back to, and they'll just automatically show up in your starred folder. Those snoozed items, these are items that you maybe, snoozed and they're going to schedule to pop up at the top of your inbox later. Your sent folder is every message that you've sent. Your scheduled would be messages that you've scheduled to send at a future date. So you can see those here if you have any. I don't have any at the moment. And then obviously trash is everything that you've deleted. Please keep in mind that Google does automatically empty your trash and some of your folders if they haven't been used after 30 days. Those messages from the trash that are emptied will not be available again. So you want to just keep track of that because it will automatically empty that after like if a message is 30 days old, it will automatically be permanently deleted unless you've given it a label. If it's sitting in your trash, it will be deleted. Okay, so labels are pretty much how you're going to organize everything. And you'll notice when you go to all mail, you can quickly scan and see which labels are applied to different messages, so where they're located. So this is just your way of organizing. And using the term labels is going to be similar to using the term folders. But the thing that's nice about it is you can put multiple labels on the same email message, so it can be available in different places and not just be stuck in a single folder. Or the compose icon. I usually like to compress my messages. And the reason I do this is because if it's compressed, you can actually navigate and work through your messages as you're composing. So you can reference your email messages that are related and be able to see what's happening and while you're working on a message. Also, I like the fact that I can take attachments and I can drag them directly into my new message. When I'm ready to compose, the first thing I'm going to do is either type in an email address or to begin typing the name of the person you want to send it to. The people in our organization or in your contact list will automatically start populating and you can select them from the list. You can blind carbon copy or carbon copy someone by clicking on these icons right here. Typically, what will happen is if you have a group that typically um, responds together in messages, you will see a shortcut where you can add them. And then you would add your subject here. Then you would type your message into the body of the message. I can obviously highlight my text. If you click on the text icon, you will get a text formatting tools. So you can change your fonts if you'd like. You can change your sizes, lots of different styles, all right here. You will find that if you do have extensions installed in Chrome that are related and would be relevant to using an email, you'll see them right here on the toolbar. You can add attachments by clicking on the paperclip. These might be file attachments. You can add a link. You can actually add a link in the message, or you can add a link as an attachment by clicking the link icon. Here you can add emojis directly to your messages. You can also add files directly from Google Drive. This will default to your picture folder to quickly add pictures. You can make your messages confidential. It will send a message to the recipient so they know that this is for their eyes only. And then you can add signatures that you set up in the settings, which we'll talk about later, right directly into your messages. And then when you're ready to send, you would just go ahead and hit the send button. If you, that would send the message right away. If you want to schedule the send for a little bit later date and time, you can click on schedule send and you can determine when you want it set. It could be tomorrow after, it gives you some suggestions, or you can pick your own specific date and time. This will schedule the message to send at the time that you set. There is three dots here. So there's a couple of different options. You can add a label to your message to categorize it in your mailboxes. You can print your message here. This is also where you would do your spell checking. If you need to delete a message, you can either just hit the X up here or you can hit the delete button that's part of the menu. One thing you will find is that your messages do autosave. So if you accidentally quit out and you were in the middle of composing a message, it will be located in your drafts folder because everything is auto saving. The settings is where you can make lots of different changes. One option is to add themes. As you notice, I do have a theme on. That's where you would do that. I'm also going to now click on where it says settings. There's a lot here that you can choose. Any change that you make, you would need to make sure that you scroll to the bottom and click Save Changes. You should check through this list and have your preferences set the way you like them. Couple things I would recommend. You can add a picture here. This would add your picture up into the top corner of your Gmail and also be visible from your messages. Also, this is where you're going to add signatures. You can create multiple signatures. If I wanted to edit the name of a signature, I can do that. I'll just call this one Amy. Usually you'll have whatever you want on it. You can highlight, you can obviously format the text or whatnot here. You can create multiple signatures if you'd like. Then you would decide what signatures you would like to go for new email messages and which you would like on your replies and forwards. Once you set that, make sure that you go all the way to the bottom and hit Save Changes. I would peruse all of the settings, make sure it's all the way you like it. And then once you have things the way you like it, just make sure that you save them at the end.